So first we're going to take a look at Mocha. And rather than try and build an app now, which I could do, but we've got 5 different tools to look at, maybe 6, depending on what happens. But so it would take a little bit too long. So what I did is I built an app, and I'm just going to walk you through the steps of what it took. So you'll see how easy it is. So when you first go into Mocha, it says, what do you want to build? And it just says, type your idea and we'll build it together. And then it gives some inspiration of things you might build, and you can click on them if you want to use that as a starting point. And it'll do anything from an e-commerce store to a Spotify clone to a personal finance tracker, photo gallery, task manager, portfolio, website. And there are also some templates, pre-built things built either by other members of the community or by the company itself. And it will build just so many different kinds of things that normally in the past you'd have to hire a programmer to build in 2 to 3 months and a lot of money. And it also has information on how to prompt and various other things. But so I'm going to show you how simple. Now, I did this utterly deliberately simply because normally I'd put in more information than this, but I'm going to show you what it was able to build just from one simple sentence. All I said was an app that keeps track of all my multiple online software subscriptions, because they were starting to mount up. And I kind of lost track of how much I was spending. I had an idea of how much I was spending, but I thought I'd put together an app that would help me find out exactly what was going on. And I got quite a surprise, as you'll see a little bit later. So anyway, now one of the problems that I'd run into with some of these vibe coding apps or creators was sometimes things would be going smoothly. Then you'd ask it to do something, and it would say, "Okay, I see what the problem is. I fixed it." And you try it again, and it wasn't fixed. And you'd say, "No, you didn't. Try again." And then it'd say, "Okay, I see what it is now. I fixed it," and it hadn't. And you find yourself going in they call it a loop of back and forth like half a dozen times before you finally say a swear word and maybe give up. And I was getting a little fed up with that with some of the other ones that I was using. So what happened was here, I put in this thing. The first thing I saw was this hourglass that wasn't going away. And I thought, oh no, not another of these apps that just doesn't work. But no, all I did was I said, all I see is an hourglass. And it said, I see the issue. And it explained the issue. And well, there it appeared. So I thought, okay, that's promising. It fixed it immediately. So then, and this is what it built, actually. Yeah, this front end was what it originally built. It built these cards that you could put information in, and it showed how much the monthly spend was, the annual spend, the number of subscriptions. This is before I entered all the information. And then when I was testing it, there's a place where when you click on add subscription, you've got a section called categories where you can say what category you want it in. And originally when it built it, it asked me to write the category. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. So I said on the category tab, can you make it a drop down with the top 10 typical categories? And it said, sure. And it did. And I'll show you that in a minute. So let's go on the web here. So right now, you see where it says categories. I used to have to type in my category. So what it did is it put all the categories here. And anytime I created a new one, it would add it. And to choose the category, I just select it. So going back to the presentation, then I found that when I enter new subscriptions and save them, they show up on this main page, but the totals up here don't change. So I told it that, and sure enough, it fixed it. It said, I'll fix the issue, and it did instantly. So far it was going really well. And then I said, okay, that cards view that we were just looking at over here, see these cards? Each of the cards has the name of the subscription, what thing it is, what category it's in, how much it is, when the next bill is due, and a click to go to their website. And you understand that it created all this. I didn't ask it to. I just said, build me an app that keeps track of my subscriptions. So it did the reasoning and the figuring out of what such an app should contain. And so I said, the cards view is excellent. Can you also add a lists view that just lists all the subscriptions so I can toggle between the card and list view? And it did. It added up here. There's the cards, there's the list, and there's the list. So you see how easy this kind of stuff is? You just tell it what you want. And if it messes up, you tell it and it fixes it. And then I said, okay, I want to export all my information into a spreadsheet. So I said, please add an export. And there it added it right up there. And it worked instantly. And this is what I was excited about because I'd been trying to build similar things in other tools and running into the loop of I fixed it, no, you haven't. And I didn't run into that with this. So I was very pleased about that. And yeah, so it built subscriptions tracker and it works great. It works perfectly. And what actually happened was, let me see if I'm going to, let me go back on the web for a second. What actually happened was and this is the actual app, and it also added a Google front end so that I could just log in or different people using it could log in and have their own personal ones. And so say if I want to add a subscription, I just add all the information here and click add and it adds the card. But what happened with me is that I thought I was spending about 200 a month on subscriptions. When I put them into subscriptions tracker, I found I was spending 600 a month.
Oh,
I know. So that was kind of like a rude awakening. So obviously I spent some time since reducing that, getting rid of the stuff I don't really need. And it's just sitting there. And I signed up for it a year ago and have never used it. So I've gotten it down to about 450. And I think I'm probably getting it down to about 400, actually more like 300 with some other stuff. So this has already saved me a lot of money. And I'm going to go back to the presentation. And Peggy says that Dan has raised his hand. So, Dan, what do you wish to say or ask?
Okay, Dan, you're allowed.
Hello? No, Dan. Oh, yeah, you can use your mic. It's okay. How did it know what subs you have? Because I add the subs. I had to spend a little time putting in the apps, but it only had to do it once. And once they're in, then it keeps track because it knows when something is due. Like it knows they've got a couple billed tomorrow and a couple others at different times. And it can alert me as well through email. But the point is, it's a fairly sophisticated little app, but it took maybe, I don't know, half an hour to build. It's just amazing to me anyway. Now they have a free version where you get 120 credits that you can build with. And I'll show you in a minute how many credits I used in building that whole app. And they have a paid version, which is 20 a month, where you get 1,500 credits. But if you go and decide you like it and you go there and you click on this particular link, you can go and try the free one and try it. And if you like it, you'll get 50 credits added to your 1,500. So you'll get an extra 50. So you'll get 1,550 if you use that link. And I'll put the link in the chat in case anybody wants to use it.
might.
Okay, it's in the chat. Now, my whole app, it used 48 credits. So I could have built 2 or 3 apps just in the free version. Pretty amazing, huh?
That is amazing, Tony.